Welcome, fellow freaks, to UFO Theater. I'm Constantine. You know, there are 6.3 million UFO-related videos on YouTube, with more being added every day. How do you know which ones are worth watching? How do you know which ones are fake? That's why I'm here, to tell you what's real and what's crap whenever there's a flap. Came up with that myself. First, let's look at what's real, the sun. There it is. This video was uploaded by Dark Sky Watcher 74. Beautiful, isn't it? The sun shimmering, spreading warmth to... Holy crap, what is that? Our sun is a friggin' UFO fly-in movie theater. While stars and planets whizzed by, these objects remained stationary around the sun for about 2 weeks in March of 2013. Dark Sky Watcher 74 says there was a lot more solar activity during this period, which may be what drew the crowd. If you're at all concerned that the UFOs are doing something to the sun that will adversely affect us here on Earth, please remember that our planet is a top destination for some favorite alien activities, like making crop circles, mutilating cattle, and of course, abducting us. Dark Sky Watcher 74 was what I refer to as a ufologist. He looked through months of observatory footage in order to find something extraordinary, and he wanted to share it with us. Unfortunately, not everybody posting UFO videos on YouTube are ufologists. Some people are just looking for a little attention. The drama queens, if you will, of the online UFO community. But how do you inject drama into a UFO video that is grainy and shaky and shot from miles away? Well, I guess the first thing you can try is to add some title cards to create a little suspense. Come on! You know, there's an appropriate place for text associated with your video. It's called a web page. The next thing drama queens do is try and dress up their video with some crappy, superfluous graphics. Ooh, look at this intro. This is gonna be awesome. Nuclear explosion, blowing off the Earth. What is that? That's like a star chamber or something.
And now, some fresh pickings from the political grapevine. There is another group pushing for the release of more secret documents, and it too is threatening a pressure campaign against the administration.
You know, it's a great age we live in, folks. No longer do you have to record network newscasts on VHS and then upload them to YouTube in the wrong aspect. Newsplus has you covered. And in case you forgot it's Newsplus, they run the entire opening sequence again at the end. I guess that's the plus. And finally, drama queens like to add some very dramatic, unlicensed music. Hope all you drama queens get the notice you so desperately want. Finally, the third and most pervasive type of UFO YouTube channel, the Profiteers. People trying to make a few bucks off your interest in UFO phenomena. You can easily spot these channels by, most obviously, commercials and banners, of course. Repeated insistence that you subscribe to their channel. And an important catchphrase, "You decide," which is sort of like saying we're going to put up a bunch of hoax UFO videos and not tell you whether they're real or not. The most extreme example of this kind of profiteering is a channel called Thirdphaseofmoon. As you can probably tell from their grammatically challenged title, the producers' twin ponytail brothers, Brent and Blake Cousins, are not scientists or experts of any kind. However, they may be time travelers, as they seem to have gotten their logo art from the early 90s. Thirdphaseofmoon, hosted by UFO so hunky Blake Cousins. One man standing alone against something that may or may not appear at some point. Okay, this is just not working. Tell you what, let's punch up the script and give it another shot. Back to one, everybody. Blake Cousins, one man, standing alone against alien hybrid chupacabra. Ponytail power! Way better. You're welcome. Oh, but Thirdphaseofmoon isn't just about ponytails, it's also about loads of fake UFO videos. How do I know they're fake? I'm glad you asked. I happen to be a visual effects artist, a compositor to be exact. Let me show you how to spot hoaxes on some of these You Decide channels. Here's a shot promoted by Thirdphaseofmoon as one of their top 10 UFO sightings at the beginning of 2012, which appears to be a giant ham radio antenna buzzing an airport. The first thing we look for is context. They say the video was shot at the Hilo Airport in Hawaii in December of 2012. There is no corroborating source for this, and without a second source, you should immediately become suspicious. The second thing we do is apply what I call the stupid test. Is the scenario believable? I imagine the control tower would take exception to something that large in their airspace. In fact, it's so close it's not airspace anymore, it's personal space. Did you hear about the Hilo Airport UFO attack? Neither did I. Neither did this person who's looking like, what the hell are you looking at? Further, why does the shot end where it does? The supposed UFO doesn't fly out of sight, so why stop shooting? So it also fails the stupid test. Now let's look at the object in the clip. It has no dimension, it's flat, and it doesn't change perspective. That doesn't pass. Now this has failed on all counts so far, and we can dismiss it, but just for the sake of science, let's continue. Let's look at the compositing. The most challenging part of compositing a shot is when objects are passing between the camera and the thing you've added to the footage. In this case, you have to mask off the UFO when this windsock passes in front of it. However, they've made some mistakes. And look at this thing twitch as the pole goes past. Often these little errors are covered up by low resolution and compression, but here it's really obvious. An even more obvious mistake is when this car passes in front of the camera. Suddenly the background stops moving, and the UFO jumps to another position and suddenly goes out of focus. This is not the Picard maneuver, this is somebody doing a crappy job at visual effects. As the car moves through, we see it showing through the windows until, oops, we don't see it through the tinted window. Going back, we see the windsock shows through, but not the giant ham radio antenna. That is a no. Here's a hoax shot from another Profiteer channel called Look Now TV, a lens cap being escorted by two Chinook helicopters. That's like having Air Force One escorted by two hang gliders. There's no context, and this is supposedly happening over an urban area. That fails the stupid test. And once again, foreground objects are trouble for the hoaxer. For a couple of frames, the disc is in front of the building. However, the helicopters, which are really there, have no such problem. That is a no. Oh, but make sure you subscribe now. If there are any videos that you've seen that you'd like me to comment on or analyze, please send me an email or leave me a comment. Now, what would it look like if somebody approached this subject honestly? For that, we go to Canada and the channel UFO Planet, hosted by Darin Crapo.
Well, thank you for tuning in to today's program. My mouth is completely frozen from the dentist, but you know what they say, the show must go on, so we're going to give her a shot.
Sure, he's not exactly Mr. Charisma, and he's a little too enamored with his somewhat cheesy virtual set, but give him a break, it's Canada. It's not like there are any visual effects people up there doing all the American films. UFO Planet gives dates, times, places, comments from the people who shot the video. In other words, context. And then there's this.
Well, I'm afraid this one's kind of easy to debunk. This is simply the sun setting. The black dot that you see there that is now white in the reverse filter is just simply what the intense brightness of where the sun is, what it's doing to the pickup of the camera. So that's not actually a UFO, but it could easily be confused for one.
Holy crap, did he just debunk a UFO sighting? He didn't tell you to decide, he decided. You, Darin Crapo, are a ufologist right there. Folks, please subscribe to his channel. Maybe someday he'll be able to afford a medium shot. Now, while Darin is freezing his butt off in the Great White North, the Cousins brothers are enjoying the good life in the Hawaiian Islands, having awkward interactions with the neighbors.
Keep an eye out in the skies and make sure you report to us if you see anything else, right?
No problem, bro. I'll get on the phone and call you guys right away.
Shooting a UFO music video.
Lights in the sky, I could not identify when I first tried, but they seem to be following me, so I hush, take a puff, I'll be outside.
Yes, that actually happened. And of course, shooting backdrops for more fake UFO videos.
Right here, from me to the tree, it seems like we're at least 1.5 football fields away. And that metallic UFO must have been at least 70 or 80 feet wide.
Let me ask a question to all you photographers and videographers out there. When's the last time you had trouble focusing on something 150 yards away? You know what would be awesome? If we could do this. And you know, you can't spell focus without UFO. I have no idea what that means. But there you have it. Third phase of moon, at best clouding the issue as to whether there is intelligent life at third phase of moon. But how about UFO videos in general, a genre that one day hopes to achieve the prestige and production value of amateur porn? I mean, what are we doing here? Are these things even real? Governments the world over deny that they even exist. If these are extraterrestrial spacecraft, certainly, somehow, somewhere, somebody would have blown the whistle and told us the truth. And that hasn't happened. Has it?
Decades ago, visitors from other planets warned us about where we were headed and offered to help. But instead, we, or at least some of us, interpreted their visits as a threat. They, the military, must have been and still are so paranoid that they feel it necessary to use the visitors' technology to fight them off. But in reality, we have a problem when official U.S. policy insists that UFOs don't exist. The veil of secrecy must be lifted, and it has to be lifted now.
Okay, so one lone kooky Canadian in the highest echelon of government, in a position to know. But you won't hear any of that kind of crazy talk in these here United States, because that would just roll the clip contradicting me.
What you normally do when you see a UFO, I was told that you notify NORAD, you don't necessarily write anything down, you don't write anything down, and you keep it to yourself.
But we could see the shape of it. It had a dome, we could see the coronal discharge.
Brightly glowing, reddish-orange elliptical object, approximately 70 feet in diameter, emerged out of the water, shot into space, traveling at about 7,000 miles per hour.
He said there was a bright, glowing red object hovering outside the front gate. My weapons started going down, one after the other.
We had ground visual, ground radar, airborne visual, and airborne radar confirmation of some of these sightings. The individuals who made the sightings were everything from airline pilots, military pilots, police officers, some of the people that your lives depend upon.
Surely with this many credible witnesses, the mainstream media would be buzzing about this conference held 12 years ago?
In September 2007, CNN even broadcast the proceedings live. Still, no official response from any level of government. So why is the United States government being so secretive? Dr. Stephen Greer, the driving force behind the Disclosure Project on the Joe Rogan podcast. Tell us what's up.
If you acknowledge that the UFOs are there and they're real, and anyone with an IQ over mud is going to ask the question, then how did they get here? If you ask that question, we have the answers for it. And if the public knows that, then they know we don't need ExxonMobil, we don't need oil, gas, coal, nuclear power.
You're talking about a UFO conspiracy, an energy conspiracy. You're talking about suppressing information.
Aha! So it's a conspiracy. My keyboard. Well, I guess we'll discuss that thing. I guess we'll discuss that next time. Until then, subscribe, like us on Facebook, tell your friends, all that stuff. Thanks for watching.